Okay, so I'm gonna make two videos here about the Canadiens today, and the first one is gonna be kind of negative if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan. Actually, I don't really know if it's negative. It could be negative depending on how you choose to view this, but today I wanted to talk about the Ottawa Senators. Again, because yes, the Sens have been giving me a lot to absolutely fawn over when it comes to the future of the National Hockey League. This team, as I've said in previous videos, I think they've got themselves a great future, lots of good young players, and a lot of really hot young talent that hasn't even stepped into their lineup yet. But when it comes to the guys who are already on the Ottawa Senators, one of the guys that was acquired a little bit earlier on in the season is a guy who isn't new, he isn't a rookie, but he is only 22 years old. Let's talk about Victor Mete, because man, when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens and how exactly they view Victor Mete, you had opinions across the board. Oh, he is this, he is that, he is good, he is bad, he is capable, he is incompetent, he is offensively capable, the play dies on his stick. There was so much conflict amongst the fans when it came to the identity that Victor Mete presented out there on the ice. But at the end of the day, taking a look at who Mete is, a fourth-round pick from 2016, hey, not a bad bet for making the NHL eventually. The problem was with Montreal that he didn't really have the sticking power to actually thrive in that system, I would say. And I've said this a few times in a few previous videos, but I've always been a big fan of Victor Mete. This guy at his best is a puck-facilitating, offensively capable defenseman who can drive a play. His mobility got in the way sometimes, but his mobility shined at other times. And when it came to his overall development with the Montreal Canadiens, he was never really allowed to hit the peak that I believed he would have had if things had went a little bit differently for the Canadiens and their development with Mete. And so, after Mete was placed onto waivers at the NHL trade deadline, we all kind of remember what happened then. The Ottawa Senators picked him up. They traded away Mike Riley, and they were like, okay, we've got room now. Let's go ahead and get that guy. And they got Victor Mete, and boy oh boy has Victor Mete honestly been pretty alright. Now, you can take a look at the numbers and say, okay, he's got 2 points in 14 games with the Sens, he had 3 in 14 games with the Canadiens. What do you mean he's gotten better? But I'm gonna say this right here, man. Victor Mete with the Ottawa Senators almost feels like a different player than the Victor Mete with the Montreal Canadiens. And that comes from a guy who's been kind of forced to watch a lot of Senators hockey because the Canucks have been playing them so often. And it's kind of funny because every time I watched Mete with Ottawa, he almost always did the things that we knew he was capable of in Montreal, but just with a little bit of a different aspect. It was almost like the leash that he had around his neck came undone, and he was allowed to just go out there and run with the wind. Kaze ga suyoku fuiteiru. And he was in a position where he honestly did make some plays that I was like, Mete, eh? Nice. In the defensive zone, he would be quick to retrieve pucks and skate around the net and wheel it up the boards himself with control. And he would do this at a number of occasions, so much to the point that I would see Senators fans being like, yeah, this guy, even though he's not producing any points, hey, he's moving the puck well, he's doing his thing, and he's honestly a pretty welcomed addition to this blue line. And a lot of these things were exemplified even more when Victor Mete went on the TSN 1200 in Ottawa the other day, and he had some comments that I wanted to read here on the channel. Mete says, it's been a new lease on life getting claimed by the Ottawa Senators. It's been great here. I was able to go out and play my game knowing that if I made a mistake, I wasn't going to get pulled. Oh man, no, you did not just say that, Victor Mete. Oh my gosh, dude, he just came out here and dropped the bomb that he is able to play the way he wants to play in Ottawa without the fear of getting benched. Because the implication here is that in Montreal, he would have that leash around his neck tied so tightly that if he tried to overstep his boundaries or if he made a simple mistake, boom, there you go, pulling him back, he's not allowed to play anymore. Now, I know that's just how circumstances dictate the situation. I know for sure that the Montreal Canadiens have a lot more to lose when it comes to playing their games, especially in this time frame. And for Victor Mete, a young guy who we all kind of agree needs more development time before he hits his stride and his peak, It's more difficult to find the room for mistakes as a Montreal Canadiens team that is in win-now mode, especially compared to an Ottawa team that is, frankly, not in win-now mode, and they have a lot more that they can afford to lose. So, right away, even though that comment's a pretty big one, yes, it does make sense. Let's continue with the comments over here. Mete says that everyone is excited for summer, but they're still excited for next season too, as they want to build on what they've done here. It's been easy fitting in. Most guys are around his age. He played with Alex Formenton in London, for example, so that made things a lot easier. He also says that the team and his agent are working on a deal, and he hopes it works out. He wants to come back to Ottawa, and he wants to be a part of this team. And so in my eyes, Victor Mete is indeed a guy who does have himself a pretty stable NHL future, should he continue developing in the path that he has. Sure, you would love to see more points coming out of this guy. Just the way that he plays, you know that point production is a key part of it. I mean, it always was in the OHL and even in the AHL too. He was always a guy who could produce points. It's just, at this level, that's been a little bit more difficult to come by. But ultimately, when it comes to Mete, if he can go out there with a Senators team that can allow him to play 16, 17, 18 minutes a night on a cheap bridge deal that takes him to when he's 23, 24, 25 years old, maybe even, you give him a role that's like, okay, just don't be afraid of screwing up. If you screw up, hey, that's fine. It's a part of the process. We're not really in the position to expect to win too many games anyway, so it's fine. You give this guy the opportunity to develop more strength on his feet, more awareness and substance in the offensive zone. Make it to a point that Victor Mete is able to capitalize on what it was that made the Canadiens select this guy in the 4th round of that 2016 draft all those years ago. You have yourselves that opportunity here, because Ottawa Senators fans had been seeing it. He's pretty alright. Victor Mete himself has been feeling it. He likes it here. And, I mean, Canadiens fans, it's not like a lot of Canadiens fans are out there, like, mourning for Victor Mete. I don't really think he's a guy that a lot of Habs fans are super sad about. But, at the end of the day, he was a guy that was developed in this Canadian system in a certain way, and we are seeing the benefits of developing this guy in a different way. Now, I mean, just give it a little bit more time before the numbers start showing up on the score sheet, because again, his production was similar to when he was in Montreal, but there still is indeed a profile in Mete that I have been very happy about, so seeing him get his chance with Ottawa, and actually seeing Ottawa play pretty well with Mete on the back end, that's really cool to me. So talk to me in the comments what you thought about Victor Mete and this entire conversation over here, talking about how he's been good with the Sens, how the Sens fan base is really opening up to this guy, and how he's in a position where he's feeling the love as well. Do you miss Mete in Montreal? If you do or don't, please let me know in the comments what your reasoning is behind that. I hope you enjoyed this with Josh Rolls 99, and bye.